So, hello everyone. We are here with the second episode of TechSphere. My name is Mesut. I just joined the GDG Mons team, and we are continuing with our TechSphere talks, where we have very interesting discussions and brainstorming sessions, even I would say, around technical topics or career growth or the future of software world, software testing, software quality, development activities, agile work, everything, those kind of related topics. And today I believe we have another very interesting, very insightful talk as well. Our special guest is Kristof. And Kristof, welcome. And we want to hear a little bit about yourself.
First of all, thanks for inviting me here. It's fun to be here and always happy to share some knowledge. My name is Kristof. I'm a quality coach and I'm a hacker. I've been into tech since 2012. I started out as a young tester, manual tester, as people would say. People don't like that term, but it is what it is. I love knowledge sharing. I love it so much, and people always say that, but I really do. In 2024, I did 131 meetups just to share knowledge, absorb knowledge. I'm also a conference organizer, meetup organizer. I live and breathe for knowledge sharing, and that's me in a small nutshell.
It's already super interesting. You said you are a hacker. You said you are a quality coach. You said you are doing 130 meetups
I did that in 1 year as a challenge for
in
myself.
a year. Yeah,
In a year. Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk all about this, but let's go one by one.
Yeah, sure.
So, I am originally personally a tester. I mean, I did several things, including quality coach, or I did even development as well, but mainly I am a tester. So I can see you as a tester as well, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I still live and breathe testing. It's my favorite thing to do. Um, yeah, if I can prefer it, I would definitely do it. It's just I don't know. It sometimes gets, I don't know how to say it. Doing testing alone doesn't do the job for me anymore. There's so much more as testing, as people see it. It's not just clicking on buttons, but for me, a tester, a quality coach, they're kind of like all of the same things because you just do everything. Like, what's in a role? Like,
Yeah, maybe this is a good entrance to our discussion. Like we generally say quality is not only testing, right? What should we understand from this? Like as you said, maybe when I say tester, whatever the title is, I saw too many titles like quality assurance tester. I don't know what it means, but basically I say tester. So what
yeah.
should we expect from a tester apart from testing or apart from only executing test cases?
Yeah. So most of the time, if I refer to a tester, it's a manual tester or a functional tester. But what I'm gonna say is basically is for everyone. So it's also for performance testers, automation engineers, and stuff like that. I think that a tester needs to be somebody who knows the product inside out, but also the process. And they're like a gatekeeper, and they balance like speed with quality and risk, because the tester's job is to identify risk. And risk is the impact on your customer, and that might be product related, but it might also be process related. If your process is slow, or there's like a thing in your process that the tester can identify and say like, hey, fix this, then that's their role these days. And you don't need to be like a manual tester or specifically, or an automation engineer or a performance tester or a DevOps engineer or whatever. Like, if you can do quality, you can do quality, and you can name it as a quality engineer, you can name it as a tester. I don't think there's much difference there. It's just for vacancies, I guess, to look cool.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whoever says you're a tester or quality engineer, whatever, right? It matters what you do.
Yeah, exactly. At the moment on my project, officially I am a tester. That's like my job function, but I do performance testing, I do quality coaching, I do AppSec, I do a lot of different things, and it's all under the name of tester. So what's in the name?
But how do you manage this? Because normally, as you said, testing, we can understand functional testing, also performance, also security, and all different types of non-functional testing as well. This is a very huge range, right? And different disciplines.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
where to stop or how to realize new challenges? How do
Ooh,
you manage this scope?
I did it all one by one.
Mm-hmm.
I started young when I was going into security. I was like 14, 15 years old, and I started hacking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I got into testing. I learned automation, and after that, I learned performance testing. It is a full-time job, I think. So you can't just hire one person to do everything. Um, but a lot of companies don't see it. They make like a vacancy profile and they ask for a test automator who has like performance testing, who has like security testing. Like that's, I mean, it's impossible. I am just very passionate about my trade. I used to work quite long hours, not just my 40 hours, but I went like fully crazy mode on learning and sharing knowledge. I sometimes even worked like 80 hours a week because I liked it. I liked working and I like my trade. So I learned a lot. So if you work like 80 hours a week, you learn twice as fast as somebody who only does 40 hours a week, of course. Um, but going into it, I would say pick just one trade that you want, focus on it until you know everything about it, and then move on. Don't do multiple things at the same time. That's not efficient.
Okay, but where to start or what should be the next? Like in your case, you like security, so maybe even personal preferences or passion can shape this growth, right? What do you think?
True. That's maybe a little bit related to like the title here, the mentorship. I initially started working as a tester internally in the company. I was all alone, didn't have anyone around me except for a few developers. They told me a few things, but they didn't really know testing. But I only knew that afterwards. Eventually, I went to a consultancy company, and they taught me a lot of stuff, and they pointed me into the right direction. I got a mentor there, a coach, but it's more of a growth coach. And I think that's where a lot of confusion comes in with a lot of people starting out in tech. Like, yeah, hey, you get a coach, he's gonna guide you through your career, he's gonna help you do everything. And they will. I mean, I'm very happy that I have that coach. He was a great guy, but I didn't really learn any hard skills from it. And that's the difference. So you have mentorship and you have mastership. And mastership is, for example, in the company that I'm in at the moment, somebody wants to learn about API testing or API hacking. They come to me, they say, hey, Kristof, can you teach me API hacking? Sure, absolutely. We'll sit together, 6 months, done. And then my job is done, and I'm not the coach anymore of that person. Compared to like a mentor, that mentor will always be there for like years and years and years, but he's not going to teach you as much as like somebody who's a master. And that's something that people should really get into, because that's like so much better than a mentor to actually learn. And I would only advise it's something I would like focus more on if you could go back in time, basically.
I think it's an important topic. Like everyone does not have a mentor or they're not involved in a mentorship program. But even
Ooh,
if they don't do in the company, there are ways to find it, right? You can
yeah.
somehow involve in that. Can you maybe give some tips about it? Like how can we find these kind of programs or what should we expect from this? You can be in both sides, right? You can be a mentor or you can be a mentee as well.
Yeah.
From both sides, how do you say it?
There are some I don't know them by heart, but if you Google them, you will find them. There are some coaching platforms out there, and there's a lot of like testing gurus on there, and you can just send them a message and they will coach you. So that's really good for a mentee. They will also look at your abstracts if you want to talk on conferences. They will help you, they will guide you, and all that kind of stuff. But then you just get like a specific coach from there. I would basically see like, I want to learn this specific topic. I would then message a specific person who has like the best knowledge of it that you can find, and just ask them like, hey, can you coach me? So I also did it online. For example, on Ministry of Testing on the forums, you could just ask for a coach. We have several groups up. We had several groups up there. People wanted to know about API testing. We made a group. We did a few things for a few months, and then they were like, okay, thank you, I'm gone now. That's all fine. You could just message me as well. I will gladly give you advice, but I will also ask something in return, because I don't just give you advice, I'll also give you homework. So yeah. So what I would recommend is asking the people that that are around you online, whatever works for you, basically. The personal approach is always better, I think.
And what to expect from this? Like, do you really learn something technical, or just get some advices? What is the biggest win?
I guess it depends on the coach. If you do it with me, I'm gonna give you a technical stuff. I'm gonna set the bar very low at the beginning, just because I need to see how passionate people are and how much they're willing to do by themselves, because mentorship and mastership work in two ways, right? So I can give them a lot of stuff, but if they don't do anything, then what am I doing? So whenever they have and show their commitment, I will give them a lot of stuff. I will give them homework after homework after homework. They will say like, hey, you have to do, I did this. And then at some point, I actually hope that my mentee becomes better than myself, because then I can learn as well. And whenever my mentee gets better than myself, then I know that I did a great job as a coach, because then he's passionate, and then I don't need to. Then I just say like, hey man, I don't need to coach you anymore. You're doing just fine. You now know how to Google. You now know how to do everything. You've done it.
That sounds very interesting. Have you faced such a situation?
Yeah, I've done that a few times. And then they're like, oh, really? I didn't expect it. But that's what I expect. I like, if you take API testing, I've done API testing for like 10 years, right? I'm not actively Googling that much anymore about API testing, but if there is something new, your mentee will find it, or I at least hope they will find it and then tell you. And at that point, you know, oh, he's Googling the new stuff and he's finding new stuff. And that's just very nice to see.
It should be such a pleasure, right? You touch to someone's growth and you see it, you observe it,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
see the outcome as well. So it should be such a pleasure.
Yeah, indeed. It's very fun to see. And after that, they're gone because that's it. But sometimes you meet back up afterwards, and then they go like, "Yeah, this guy taught me this and this," and so it's fun to see. It's fun to see.
Got it, got it. There might be some people watching this episode after, especially the testers. So I want you for some advice, especially for the junior people just entering the software world or maybe the software testing world. What should they do? Especially nowadays, even for juniors, it might be even more difficult, right? Compared to old times, everything is changing way faster. There are more challenges. There are lots of things to do. What should they concentrate on, and what skills do they need to grow?
Yeah, I think these days it's a very hard market for starting in testing, if you could say it like that, because there's not many junior hires. But something I often see is people asking online, hey, I want to learn automation. What do I do? And then there's this random guy who goes like, yeah, you have to do Java with Selenium. And I'm like, no, you don't. You have to look around you. Because like, if you now learn Java and Selenium and no company around you is doing that, then what's the use, right? So you have to basically scrape around, look what the companies that you want to work in, actually want. So if they say like, hey, we have Cypress or we have Playwright or stuff like that with JavaScript or TypeScript, learn that, not Java with Selenium. But if they have Java and Selenium, then learn Selenium, of course. But that's like the biggest thing that you can do as when you're starting out. Look at what companies are asking and then meet those demands. Even AI, like work with AI, but don't let AI do everything for you, because they will ask you questions on the interview and you will fall through. So make sure to understand what you're doing. That's the most important thing. And I would also say be passionate about your work, because if I do an interview, I will definitely ask a few sneaky questions to see if they're actually really passionate about their work. And some fall through and some don't. So it's interesting to see.
What kind of sneaky questions? Do you have examples?
Oh, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because people might
This
be
is why
watching.
it's sneaky, right?
I can tell you after offline.
I would like to hear it. Awesome. I can talk really more on this topic, but I want to go to the next chapter, I would say, which
Yeah,
is
sure.
about your conference background. I'm not sure if you start first organizing events or just appear in the events, or as an attendee or as a speaker. What was your entrance point?
It was Socrates in Belgium. So I wanted to learn more. I was at a consultancy company, but they can only give you so much, right? So I was looking for more knowledge. So I found a Socrates group in Belgium. I joined them for the first time. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Also open space format is really cool. I was like hooked and I wanted more of it. So I literally just asked them, like, after the first time, how often do you do this? And they were like, yeah, maybe like once every 2 or 3 months. I was like, yeah, that's not enough. We need to do more. And he was like, yeah, sure, but you have to organize it yourself then. And I was like, really, I can? And then I picked up the organizer role as well for Socrates, started hosting Socrates meetups. I got a little bit bored of it because 99% of the people were developers, and there was like no, I was the only tester there. So it was hard to defend myself. I started a meetup group for testing, started speaking in conferences, and eventually I was like, there's not really a conference here in Belgium about software testing and quality. So last year we started our own conference, but it was kind of like so one of the we always talked about it, like we always talked about organizing a conference, but I think it was Beren van Dalen who said, hey Kristof, you know what would be cool if you could have like a meetup with a barbecue. And then we just organized the conference instead. So I still owe him that meetup with a barbecue, which will be in June this year. So feel free to come. But yeah, that's how it got started, and now we're doing our second edition. That's how it started.
If my calendar lets, of course I will come. Who says no to barbecue, right?
And the meetup as well.
And the meetup, but I don't know which one is the first motivation. But yeah, I'm sure the conference itself is also very interesting. Because previously I didn't join any, how do you call it? Open space format?
Open space format.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how it is. I have an idea, but I don't really know how it goes. So I want to try it.
It's the best there is. Like, if I can choose to go to an open space conference or a regular conference with talks, I will always pick open space. It's because the conference talks are always fixed before, and open space they get like made up on the spot right there by the people for the people. And you can just submit something yourself, and then there's like a lot of different rooms. You can go to whatever topic you want. And I think that's just, you see a lot more interaction on an open space conference than on a regular conference. On a regular conference, you go to a talk, done. You go to the next talk, done. And here it's like people talking to each other. And you learn so much more. At some point in your life, you will have like all of the basic knowledge and the advanced knowledge. where a conference won't be good enough for you anymore, because like you can see like, oh, this conference has this framework with this plugin. Like I can Google that myself in the weekend and learn about it, right? I don't need a talk for it, so it's not useful for me. But then talking to the people at the conference, that's where the hallway as people would say. That's where the real value is for me as well. The networking. Yeah.
Actually, I was gonna ask this. Like, I am also organizing some conferences, and generally, when I have to select a topic, I try to choose at least some personal stories or problem solution kind of stories, because as you said, like if it is pure technical, I can learn it somewhere, right? If I'm going to a conference, if I'm spending my time on it, then it should be really interesting that I want to hear from a specific person with
Yeah.
some personal stories.
Yeah.
And also,
I
like
agree.
when you go to conference, like you don't really learn something which is super interesting, which is super new. You cannot learn anywhere else. That's not the whole point. I don't know if you agree, but you see some other people, you interact with other people, you talk, you learn what they do, and you even see the other people facing the same problems as you do. These kind of things are more important for me, rather than just listening some technical stories.
Yeah, true. I agree. And then at some point, somebody might say a few buzzwords that you haven't heard yet, or recommend a book, and then you can read that book and
Hmm.
get some more knowledge there. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right. No, it's not 100%. You are just noting down everything, but there are some points. You pick some very interesting
Yeah,
ideas, then you go over them. This is
yeah,
how I see. Yeah. And I think you also appear as speaker, or you are facilitating some workshops as well, right, at events.
yeah. That's true. So I often give a lot of workshops for whatever is needed
Hmm.
at conferences, at companies, wherever
Hmm.
it's needed. And I think testing related, or sometimes even ethical hacking related.
What is your motivation? This is a very common question, right? Normally, you spend some time, you do a lot of preparations, you go to the venue if it is on site, and I'm not sure if you are having any benefits, but most of the time it's not the case for most speakers. So take this as a general question. What is the motivation? You already said you like information sharing,
Yeah.
but can you a little bit elaborate on this?
As Not really that much. I just like knowledge sharing. I'm not a freelancer. I'm not a contractor, or however you call it. So I don't get like special fees or anything. I just get paid by my own boss. You get a little bit of visibility, but that's not why I do it. I like to do it because I like to share knowledge. I like to talk about the things that nobody really wants to talk about. That's why if you see me giving a talk, it will always be like some kind of niche topic, or it will be some very hard verse. Sometimes I tend to do that sometimes. But like my motivation, I don't know. I just really like doing it. I really like my job.
Hmm.
For me, it's not even a job.
Mm.
It's just my passion.
It's part of your life, I guess.
Yeah, it's part of my life. Exactly.
Yeah, I can imagine because it is the same for me, right? Whenever I realize something, whenever I observe something interesting, I'm saying, oh my God, I have to tell this to everyone.
Yeah.
Because this week, especially, for example, I will share an example. Like, in software testing, especially automation, do not repeat yourself. Dry versus readability of the test code. This is a very important topic for me. And when I try to remove some arguably reusable functions from the framework, the code was even shorter, not longer.
Oh, okay, okay.
When I figured out this, I thought, oh my God, this is an awesome conference talk. I have to give this somewhere. The,
I can really imagine. Yeah.
yeah, there are points like this you really want to share. This is already a motivation for you to go.
Yeah. There was actually a project where I still want to do a talk about. I
Mhm.
removed, I think it was 72,000 lines of code from the automation suite, and I added like 2,000, and it did the exact same thing. It was like a huge refactor. I was very proud of it, but like I'm always thinking like might not be interesting for people to hear about it, but it's just another refactor.
Mhm. In the meantime, I'm checking chat, so I want to remind our attendees, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them. Because normally I want to go over a lot of topics, but time flies. My eye is on time as well. Kristof, it's so fun to talk to you with such a background. But again, if I see any questions, I will try to cover them as well. Cool. So, okay, so this is about going to conferences or organizing events. What are the biggest challenge for you? I assume especially for organizing events, there might be some challenges, right?
For meetups, it's usually pretty easy. We find a company, we ask them to sponsor, just like buy pizza and then provide drinks and some rooms, and that's it. But for a conference, it's a little bit different. We don't have an organization or anything, so we're just like community driven. So everything is based on sponsorship. So the biggest challenge for us is to find sponsors. We want to give like the best experience for people. So thank God we have a lot of sponsors who believe in us and want to sponsor us. But yeah, more sponsorships. Like we also want to get like a lot of diversity in our speakers. So if you want to get somebody from let's say from Germany or from another country, we would also have to pay them, which comes from more sponsorships. So for me, that's the hardest part, getting all of the sponsors, because they need to believe in us, and they also need some visibility as well. We don't mind giving the visibility, absolutely not. But it's just it's not always easy to convince them, especially here in Belgium, because we're such a small community.
I see. I think I asked you separately in another discussion, but how do you see the software testing world in Belgium? Like not only in terms of the communities, but also people working in different companies or maybe individually. Are they spread around, or there are certain places where people generally do?
I would say it's pretty even spread around like Ghent, Antwerp, Leuven, and Brussels. But what I do often see is that most testers come from consultancy companies. So at my current client, they want a balance of their IT department 50-50, 50% external, 50% internal. But there's not a single internal tester. So, and if I look back at the previous companies that I've worked at, it's kind of the same. Like, I don't know why people are not hiring internal testers. Some start doing it right now. But I think consultancy is more fun anyway, so it's not a problem for me.
Maybe it's easier to manage from the company side, right?
Yeah, true. I guess I think Belgium is a little bit behind on the thought process of needing a tester, and they just want to try it out first, and then whenever they see they're successful, then they start hiring them internally, because it's also cheaper, of course.
I'm always interested in a cultural aspect of work styles as well. So I will be going into software testing again, but like at some point you said Belgium is a little bit behind. How do you see in general, like especially are they capable of catching up to latest trends in terms of again the work styles? Like are testers within the teams, or there are isolated testing teams? How does it work? And are they capable of catching up with AI in their daily life?
I think it really depends on the company and who's driving. So at the moment, at one of my current clients, we're really driving AI. We're like, I'm a quality coach there, so I'm asking for budget to do specific things. My boss there, well, I do like this, but he's my boss. He believes in me, and he believes that I make like the right decisions as well. I always have to propose it and explain it, of course, to him. But I've never gotten a no from him. So that's really nice to see. And they want to grow and they want to move on. But I've seen companies where testers are like super isolated and all alone, and development teams are alone, and then they ship it to the other side. Like those companies, I don't even want to work there, if I can say it like that. Unless I getting the power to change it all, then I would.
I asked this question because previously I was living in Japan before moving to Belgium. I had this question a lot of times because, Japan is a little bit far away from the Western world. So people think like, okay, maybe it should be very interesting, very different. So they were asking me how it is. I agree what you were saying. Like it depends, right? In some companies it may be one way, in another company it may be another way. So this is how people design it, organize it, I would say.
Yeah.
And it sounds a little bit hero driven. Like what if that person is not deciding in the correct way? This was a question I was thinking for a long time. But this is how it is, right? There is always a human factor, I would say. How do you see this?
Yeah, there's always the human factor. But there's also a budget factor, I believe. You can always hire. I've had clients where where I was just a tester, and then they hired like this coordinator, which was coming from the Stone Age, basically, if I can say it like that. And we had to like go away from Git to SVN, and I was like, why? And she answered like, that's the only thing that I know. It's like, learn something new. But yeah, it didn't catch on, and yeah, the human factor is like, I'm a consultant. 90% of my job is change management, trying to change people's minds, letting them come up with the ideas instead of myself. And yeah, it's sometimes it's really, really rough. And sometimes the managers just go like, no, you can't do that, or we're now working like this and everybody should be like this. It's really hard, but I'm also very happy that I'm a consultant and that I can go somewhere else.
I just learned another title of yours, which is very interesting for me, which is the change manager, right? So how do you manage it? How do you manage change? How do you convince people?
Oh, I think it's just part of being a real consultant. So I like to job shape as well. I've been at a company, started out as a test automator. I automated everything that I was possibly able to do. So I started hacking them as well. And I found like 11 vulnerabilities, and I was like, I have to report this to the security officer to see what we have to do. And I got the reply, yeah, but he just quit. Like, he just quit his job. I was like, oh, then who do I go to? And then they were like, yeah, talk to the CISO. And then I talked to the CISO, and she was like, I don't really know anything about this. I just do governance. It's like, yeah, but then what do we do, right? What's the security policy? And they actually were like, we don't have a security policy. They had like an IT department of 200 people, right? So I said like, okay, no problem. I'll make it. I'll do it. And then I started doing it. I started doing AppSec for the company. I just job shape myself. Like, you have to propose something. Like, there's always a need, right? A company has problems or challenges, as I would say. There's no problems, only challenges. And you just have to provide solutions for those challenges, and then let them come up with it. Is even better, because then they think like, oh, it was my idea. But like, for me, I don't care if you come up with it or I come up with it. I'm a consultant. I'm gone after like a year or 2 years, maybe. And that's basically my approach.
Yeah, I mean, even if sometimes the benefit is obvious, people are used to do ways in a way.
Yeah.
And they don't easily want to change.
Yeah. It's easy to say like, can I do it? I'll make a proof of concept. That's probably like the best part, like making a small proof of concept. That's like the biggest deal breaker there. Because if you say like, hey, can we do this? Then they will be like, oh no, it costs too much. But if you make a proof of concept, that's a small thing. And then you can actually prove it. And then you will be like, we just want so much. And managers calculate in numbers and in graphs. So yeah.
Okay, so we already start talking about security as well. So maybe can you a little bit explain how you start doing things around that?
Oh, I started when I was like 14, 15.
A real hacker.
Yeah, I started hacking video games and stuff like that. But I was like a total noob, right? I was like copy paste script kiddie, as people would say. I was like copy pasting from the internet. At 18, I stopped because it's illegal. You can go to jail. And then at some point, I found bug bounty, which is an ethical way of hacking, and you can get paid for it. So I started doing that, and I got more into security. Took it to my clients as well. It was like my first client when I did consultancy. I was like 23, I believe, when I moved to consultancy. I was like, can I try to hack you guys? And they were like, yeah, sure, as long as it's in your free time. It's like, yeah, no problem, I'll do it. And then like the day after, I set up a meeting. It's like, hey, I hacked you, and I could do this and that and this and that. And they were like, oh my god. And then I started doing more and more, and eventually I did some AppSec jobs, some pen test jobs. I just started doing it on the side, I guess. That's how I got into it.
Security is a different word for me. I don't know too much about it. But you think testers or maybe even developers have to learn it? Because whenever we are developing some applications, which is open to world, it should be secure, right? It should not be leaking information or even sensitive data. So should it be already part of our daily development activities, or still should it be secured by specific experts?
I would say both. It's like saying, should a developer test? Yeah, he should obviously test his own stuff. But the tester is the professional, he's the expert, he's going to do it more in depth. So should you know security? Yes, obviously. You have to do your basic checks and you have to do your basic stuff, maybe use a scanner or something basic. But then there still has to be like a penetration tester, an expert who comes in to check your stuff. I think that's basically the clue.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we already talked about a few topics which went parallel, I believe, in your career as well. Again, going back to career management or career growth, how do you approach, like even in terms of considering the future, there will be always some new things and there will be some new challenges, something new to learn.
Yeah.
You already give some clues about like it should be aligned or resonated with your passions or personal preferences. But balancing with, especially balancing personal life and the professional life, and finding the sweet spot by consuming lots of information, especially today's world. There are too
Yeah.
many things, right? So how to manage this?
I'm probably not the right person to ask because I don't really have a personal life. I spend a lot of my time during my career working a lot, researching a lot. I'm not the kind of guy who goes onto a cafe and have a drink with his mates or stuff. I'm the guy that is in a call on a Friday night, joining a meetup, hacking a company together with somebody else, doing stuff like that. So I'm not sure if I'm the right person to ask. But if you really want to know some tips, bucket lists. Don't do them. Absolutely not. You're gonna throw stuff in your bucket list. You're gonna say, "I'll do this next week. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next month." You're not gonna do it, and that's my attitude. Like, if you do something, do it now and learn it now. And then when something new comes up, pick it up, do it instantly, learn it, do it. Because otherwise, you're not gonna do it. And I think that is probably like one of the best things about myself. Like, I can just pick it up, do it. Like, hey, you have to send an email, and then people will be like, yeah, I'll send it later. Do it now. And that's like, you save so much time, because otherwise you're thinking, oh, I have to do that, and I have to do that as well, and then I have to learn. And then you're getting like in a negative mode, which will automatically make you feel like, nah, I'm not gonna do it or not gonna make it. Like, if you just do it now, then you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, that was easy. And then you're in a good mood, and then you can just continue with that good mood, and you can perform better. That's my mentality of it.
Having a personal backlog, right, which is always growing, never decreasing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the best, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have some turning points in your career? Like you realized, oh my God, this was important, this was big. Did you have this kind of turning points?
Yeah, when I moved to consultancy. So I was all alone in my first company that I worked for. And even if there were more testers there, I don't think I would have learned much. I also see a lot of difference between people working internally and in a consultancy firm. Like in a consultancy firm, you can go follow trainings, you can do conferences. They really support that. Compared to internally, it's like, maybe I'll see if there's budget. And that's like, I don't know. That for me, that was like a big turning point. So when I applied for a job, I said like, I want more training budget than you originally offer, but I'll follow everything in my free time. That's what I said at the beginning. So I actually got a lot more training budget there, and then I did everything in my free time as well. I just wanted to go hard on learning stuff.
Was it personal choice or accidental, or you were encouraged by someone?
It was a personal choice. Like I made like, I don't know, at some point I made like a click in my head saying like, I wanna do this. I played a lot of video games in my early days. I got some world records as well. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Wow.
And
Nice.
I was like, I can maybe do this at my job as well. I can like do a lot of cool stuff there and then talk here, talk there. It's maybe a little bit of the motivation for my confidence speaking as well. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Maybe a similar question, but might be more difficult. Do you have any regrets? Like, is there
Ooh.
something what you could do differently?
I
Maybe.
would have gone to consultancy way faster. Yeah. Consultancy is definitely way better to learn stuff because they also organize events and stuff like that. I would have done it way faster. If I now look back to my younger self, I would definitely say like maybe like work there for a year or two and then go to consultancy instead of 5 years. Yeah, that's probably my only regret.
Maybe I should also think about it, right?
I don't know. Depends how much you want to learn, I guess. because like working internally in a company, there's not much growth there either. So whenever you start as a tester somewhere and there's already a test lead, you can only become a test lead if that guy goes away, right? But if you're a consultant and you say like, hey, I want to become a test lead, they can find jobs for you with test lead, and you don't have to job hop, as people would say, which is also a big advantage. And that way you can grow faster than working internally because you can get different jobs quicker than without actually job hopping.
Let's connect this again to advice for juniors. And somewhere, I don't remember where, but somewhere I read or listened, they were saying like every 5 years or so, like it might depend, it might be 4 years, 6 years, whatever, you should change maybe your company or organization or role. You should change something. The idea was this. Do you believe in this? Is that correct?
I'm not saying you should change company. You can, of course. This is probably good for your salary, if I can say it like that. But if you really want like innovation and stuff, you also have to create it yourself. You make a lot of effort doing it. I also made a lot of effort doing it. I suggested a lot of stuff about innovation, things to do for my company. They always supported me. I could do new stuff, could grow into new things. But at some point, the company will say like, "Hey, we don't really want to focus on, let's say, for example, security. We don't really want to focus on security. We don't offer security. Then, and I want to go into security. Then it's time for me to leave." But I wouldn't necessarily say jump companies every 5 or 6 years because I still think that loyalty is still a big thing. I stayed for 7 years at the first consultancy company, and now I went to another one because I can do more here, and they have like a bigger focus on quality. So, and I hope I can stay here for maybe the rest of my life as well. So
But what you were saying earlier is also very interesting. Like when company says, okay, I don't want you to do this anymore, but something else. Is this always a reason to leave? Because I feel companies are doing this a lot lately, especially with the effect of AI. Things are changing a lot. Like maybe they don't say, okay, don't do this anymore, but they are asking to do things in very different ways.
in very different ways. Maybe it depends, because I know a company who said, we're not going to focus as much on quality anymore. And if you really want to do quality, yeah, then you should definitely leave. But if they say like, hey, we're doing, for example, Cypress and we're going to go to Playwright, I don't think that's a reason to leave at all. I think it's just another opportunity for you to learn a new framework or something like that. Even though the decision might be stupid, you can always try to challenge it, or you can make it into a learning opportunity for yourself. And afterwards, then you can still leave if you really want to. But I mean, it's kind of up to the person. Like, if you're not happy doing what you do, if you're not happy at the company that you're sitting at, then yes, leave. That's my main reason. Like, if you're not happy, if you're not learning, if you don't feel like you contribute, then you just leave. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's your happiness. Like, you have to do this the rest of your life. Do something that you like.
But leaving immediately is also not easy, right? Especially finding a new position nowadays is a challenge.
First find something new before you
And
leave.
then leave. Do not leave before finding something else.
Okay. yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I asked this question because I faced this kind of situation. Like they asked me to not to test anymore, but I think this question is important because some companies start to eliminate their quality assurance teams and they start asking developers to do tests. And personally, I changed my role after doing testing for a long time and I became a developer. At that time, I thought about this, like, is this something that I should not accept or is this something that I should accept? And I thought maybe not only my company, but a lot of companies are doing this. So maybe eventually I should do this sooner or later. I should learn new things. This was my judgment, but I guess I see what you are saying. Like it depends, right? You have to make your own judgment. You have to see what's going around. You have to check yourself. You like it, you don't like it. I think this is how it works, right?
Yep, true.
Awesome. Thanks for the advice. I think we should wrap up soon, but of course, I have to ask you the famous question. How do you see the effect of AI? Will it replace testers? Will it replace developers? Or will it at least reduce the number of people needed?
I don't think it will replace, but reduce is maybe a better word. Especially with the agentic AI and all that kind of stuff coming up. Well, coming up, it's already here. Like I've already seen a lot of companies do it. Especially, like for example, in the security branch, AI pen testing is like a very hot topic, and they're very very good actually. It's kind of scary. But that's not going to replace pen testers. It's just going to reduce the amount of pen testers because it's just always still needed because they need to verify it. They need to do their stuff. It's the same for testers, right? Testers are not a dying breed, if I can say it like that. They're just going to be replaced with testers with knowledge of AI because they have to still set it up. They have to still train the models. They have to make like a prompt. Like if you look at the Aikido, the AI pen testers, like their prompt is like pages long. It is insane. It's not just a few lines. It's something that you continuously improve as well. So I don't think that testers will get replaced. I don't think that AI will always be able to do and test everything because there's always going to be business logic that has to be tested. And that's not always doable with AI, at least not yet, maybe in the next years or something. with a superior model or something. But for now, no.
But how can we cope with it? Like it will obviously have an effect in our life.
Yeah.
And not to be behind of latest trends or not to be outdated. What do you suggest?
I would definitely suggest not to be outdated. Visibility is a very important thing. Also in the world of testing, in the world of development, in every single world. The more you can put on your resume, especially as a consultant, saying like, "Hey, I've done AI testing, I've done agentic stuff, and all that kind of stuff." And then there's like another tester who just has like his regular resume without AI. They're obviously gonna pick the same guy with AI because he has like more knowledge, which is normal. So definitely don't get outdated. And that's not only for AI, that's for everything.
Yeah, for anything, right? Yes. I see one question, I will share this, and I see one comment as well, which is agreeing like it won't be a replacement, but rather a shift in the way developers work, like mathematicians with calculators. Yeah, just an instrument, just a tool, right? Facilitating our work, maybe.
Yeah.
And the question is, what about defensive parts, GRC, risk management team?
Ooh, that's a very big question. I think they have a lot more on their plates than before AI, because a lot of people, I've like with the upcoming of AI, I've seen a lot of people just throwing stuff in AI like tokens, secrets, and I was like, oh my god, please no, because they're learning of it and then they're coming out somewhere else. So they have like booming business. Absolutely, there's more people needed in that field. Absolutely. Also in IT security and like application security, network security, I think those jobs are booming right now because of AI, because like a lot of people are using AI to attack companies, and like people are using AI internally. They want to adopt. Everybody wants to adopt a new tool. So my current company that I work for, my client, they want to adopt a new tool which has AI. Like, what are their policies? What do they do with it? And it's what are the risks? It's like, yeah, it's a, if you want to go into that field, that's a good choice.
Nice. Okay, I think these are the last chances for the questions, if there are any more. Yes, they said especially with European regulations regarding the previous one. Yeah. Okay, I will wait a little bit more for seeing some new questions because we have to wrap up very soon.
If people still have questions afterwards, you can always send me a message as well. Happy to answer.
Yes, maybe let's share what is the easiest way to reach out to you, Kristof? Is it LinkedIn or email?
LinkedIn is fine. Just send me a connection request and pop your question in if you want.
Awesome.
That's the best.
Awesome. Then yeah, we will link that to the recording, and people can find you. And yes, it was a lot of fun talking to you. We had too many different things to talk about as well, but we have limited time. But again, it was a pleasure hosting you, Kristof. Thanks so much for your time.
It's fun being here, and thanks for the invitation as well. I hope some people learned some bit from it and got some inspiration.
I did myself. I hope everyone as well. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, again, thank you so much, and hope to meet you somewhere, maybe in Belgium, maybe somewhere else.
Definitely. If you're not going to any events, then you're not gonna see me. If you go to some events, then you'll probably see me.
I will. I have to go some events. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye.